Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by
Big bucks are not hard to come by. Ask these hunters who have one thing in common. No, we're not talking about big smiles on their faces. All these hunters learn the secret of how to grow big antlers. A product that requires no planning. A product that's easy to use and is guaranteed to grow buck's antlers to their full potential. It all starts here with the brand Lucky Buck. Guaranteed to grow bigger bone or your money back.
Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and it is summertime here in Michigan. It's an awesome time to get outside, spend some time on your favorite body of water here in our Great Lakes state. On this week's show, Jimmy's spending some time on the water with Walleye Pro Mark Martin. Now, over the years, Gabe Van Warmer and myself have always seemed to call dibs on the stories that involve Mark. He's a fun guy to fish with, and he really knows his stuff when it comes to walleyes. Well, now that he and Jimmy live on the same side of the state, they decided it was time that they fish together too. So you'll see that on this week's show. And Jimmy's got some other fun stuff for us too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. I was able to steal away with Mark Martin and do a little bit of fishing, and that will be first on this week's episode. After that, we're going to visit with our friends at G5, an archery manufacturer over in the Thumb. You're not going to want to miss that story. And then to kind of round out this week's show, we've got a recipe for you. We're going to show you how to do ribs over an open fire. Lots of good stuff on this week's program, so you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan Out of Doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meijer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meijer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meijer. By Rosie Brothers. Located in Dryden, Michigan, Rosie Brothers has been serving Michigan for over 40 years. Specializing in outdoor needs, Rosie Brothers features Kubota tractors and equipment for use in farm, home, or commercial needs. On the web at rosiebrosinc.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
When Walleye Pro Mark Martin calls you and says, hey, they're catching walleye in your backyard, well, you make sure you get on a boat with them to see just how the pros do it.
Whip it out about 30 feet, wouldn't you say, Kurt? Or let out 30 feet. You don't need much to drag. It looks like right now we've got a little bit of a current going, so I won't have to just position myself with my electric here and there, go back and forth across the channel right here, and then there's going to be some clam beds coming up down here.
And you're dragging it across the bottom?
Yep, just dragging. You'll feel them, and you just kind of, there's a fish, and you just kind of lean out and let them have it, you know. And these are kind of whippy little Fenwicks, so that you can, you know, they're pretty limber. The fish don't really know that they're on. If you had a stiffer rod, they'd probably drop it. but you let them have it a little bit and then come right
But
back
you're not
on
really
'em.
jigging it at all. You're just
No.
kind of popping it along the bottom.
Yeah, just letting it drag or kind of lifting it and
Okay.
kind of keeping it from getting too snagged up down there.
Today, we were on the Grand River, just outside of Grand Haven and Spring Lake. And for the past few weeks, the locals have been saying the walleye were in, and that's why we were here today.
We're gonna head out here, launching here in Bruce's, so then we don't have to contend with the current in the Grand River at Indian Channel, or the Willows they call it. And we're gonna try to get a few walleyes out here. I've heard while I've been gone doing tournaments that they've been catching a few walleyes out here. And the thing is you know, hopefully you're not yesterday they were biting, or tomorrow they're biting. Hopefully today they're biting. But we're going to go through a lot of variety of fish here. That's one thing when people come here and do this. Expect to catch a lot of varieties of fish. Pretty much anything that you can think of that's in the Grand River, you're going to be catching.
Also along with us today was Mark's good buddy, Kurt Kasuth. He also knows this water very well, and like Mark, tries to get out here as often as he can. One nice thing for me on this trip is I was able to get out from behind the camera and do a little fishing with Mark today as well. Now, Mark actually lives here in West Michigan. One thing I didn't know was they actually grew up right here, and this was some of the same water that he fished as a kid.
I grew up on this body of water. I used to take my little 12-foot boat out here with my 9.9 Mercury, and well, it started out with a 12-foot Appleby, little aluminum boat, and a little 5-horse Elgin engine, and that was big time. And I graduated up to a 9.9 Merc on it, and then I was real big time.
Is fishing as much fun now with all this other equipment you got versus back then?
Oh, yeah, it is. It makes it a little bit, the knowledge that you gained back then just increased all these years to where all the little tools that you have, they just add to your ability to catch fish. So yeah, you can quickly discern whether you should be fishing right here or should we move here to a different area. And with the GPS, you can see different areas and discern where you want to go. With the Navionics chips that I have in my GPS, you can see, clam beds, you can see weed beds. And so back in those days, you had to go guessing in by Galilean for the most part. Real big one, really big.
Well, you give a pro like Mark Martin a few minutes, and sure enough, he had a walleye on the line.
The size of that one. That's a walleye. I think we come upon a little technique there.
He's off the hook, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh.
You want to hold him up?
Yeah, grab him there.
Wow, that's what the majority of them are. That little smaller miracles. That's a nice fish for the Grand River.
That's a nice walleye, isn't
It's
it?
a nice walleye anywhere, especially
Right.
here.
I wish I had a few of them in
Yeah,
tournaments.
look at that gold.
Yeah. People don't even know that there's nice walleye in the Grand River like this right here.
That is
Them
a
were
pretty fish.
Some nice walleyes, and we just changed. I didn't change techniques. I just changed a little bit. Kurt's mentioned, and we picked up the speed by about 0.4 of a mile an hour, and couldn't have went more than 100 yards. And instead of catching trash fish, well, not trash, but fish that we're not after, the walleye. So we're gonna keep doing this.
Well, Mark was right about a couple things today. We were going to have to sort through a lot of fish. The Grand River holds quite a variety.
Quality stick right there. A little thin though, I think we'll send that one back.
Now, this might have been the best part of the day. Mark's ignition fell through the console of the boat, and he was working hard to try and get the thing fixed.
It's good to know that
Even a professional fisherman has boat issues from time to time. It always seems like it's, you know, most of us average fishermen, they go out and something happens with the bowl, you forget your rods. We just went fishing with my kids recently, we forgot the bait. So it's good to know that even top of the heap when it comes to fishermen, sometimes they have some issues.
Stuff happens.
Now, seeing Mark leaning against his 250 Merc and using the kicker motor, well, that was fun to say the least. But wouldn't you know, even with no big motor, he still found me a fish.
Please be a walleye. Please be a walleye.
Oh, come on. You can do it. You can do it. It's staying down. Look at that.
Nice fish. Nice one.
Finally, the back of the boat is on the board. Easy, big fella. Don't be getting in there.
Flip right out the back and there
Okay.
you go, Jimmy. That's
There.
a nice Grand River eye.
A nice walleye.
Is that your first one out of the Grand River?
Yeah, I think it is. Definitely since I've lived over here. Yeah, I was kind of excited to fish with Mark today because he said the walleye been kind of, you know, the bite's been on here for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And now that I'm living over here in West Michigan again, I wanted to kind of learn how to do this, and there's no better guy to teach you than Mark Martin. So thank you, sir.
Hey, no problem.
He's gonna eat good.
Yeah, yes.
There's no catching. Well, this is released to the grease on this
That's
one.
right, exactly.
Well, we were about done for the day, and as we headed to shore, it was fun to learn from a pro like Mark Martin. Even though we were fishing that same stretch of water, just to change up little things like that, like going from the jig to a little spinner to
Yeah.
you know, putting a bead on, not having a bead on, the long shank hook.
Yeah.
All those different at speed, we just varied it very little, but it seemed to make a difference.
Oh yeah, you got to keep trying different things, you know. And it's nice that three of us were fishing because we could, you know, do different size spinner blades, different type jigs. You know, we found out what was working, you know. And so if I had to go out here tomorrow, you know, I'd go down here to the Willows Indian Channel, head back up above Bruce's here, and probably run a little bit more spinners, you know, and maybe have one dead rod out with a crawler and a true turn hook. So,
Well, thanks for spending some time with us.
Hey, thanks, Jimmy. It's
appreciate
been
it, Mark.
a good time. Been a long time.
It had been a while since I fished with Mark, and it was great to be back on the water with him. And maybe there's a fishing buddy of yours out there that you haven't seen in quite a while. If so, don't waste another day. There is a lot of good water waiting for you. Well, when it comes to the world of archery, we here in Michigan have really been at the forefront of some of its latest and greatest technology. Kind of all starting back with Fred Bear and really leading up to today's folks. And let me introduce you to someone that maybe you didn't even know was here in the state of Michigan. That is the group over at G5. Well, we are here today in Memphis, Michigan, with Lou Grace from G5. Lou, first off, where is Memphis, Michigan? People probably don't know that G5 is located. Where is Memphis on the map here?
Memphis has got the dubious distinction of actually being between two counties, Macomb County to the south and St. Clair County to the north.
And just so people know, G5 actually stands for, and what's the significance of that?
Yeah, I have 5 children, and the 5 is a biblical number for grace, and that's our last name. And the logo that Matt and they came up with, it looked cool. So that's where the G5 started.
So you started with broadheads, and that you did that for several years, and now in the last 3 to 4 years you've gotten into the bows. Tell me a little bit about what kind of makes your bows different than some of the other ones that are out there on the market?
Well, on any of our products, when we bring it to market, it has to be different and has to be better than the products that are already there.
The folks at G5 are pretty committed to excellence, and that really stems from Grace Engineering, which was the foundation of G5. Being in the field of manufacturing that required such high tolerances really helped when they dove into archery.
Now the prime bow, I don't know what you'd call is it parallel?
It's a parallel cam.
Parallel cam. Now, for people that maybe haven't seen that before, why is that such a improvement in the archery world?
And again, most people were using the terminology of camling as a way of describing what happens to the cams when they pull the bow back. The cams would lean, and people were concerned about it, but there wasn't really a lot that you could do about it. What we came up with was the parallel cam system, where it actually adjusts the pressure as the bow gets pulled back, and certainly when it's shot and when it's released, it evens out the pressure that the strings or the cables are under. And if you can adjust that pressure, then the cams will swing over much more aligned to the center of the riser.
And tell me a little bit about the riser. I thought that was kind of interesting when you said that this is made from a kind of a different type of material than maybe other bows that are on the market.
Yeah, this particular alloy is a 7000 series alloy, which is used a lot in the aerospace industry. It's used because it's twice as strong as the 6061 that everyone else uses. It mechanically, it is actually twice as strong. The reason why strength is very important to control is as the bow gets pulled back, it not only wants to flex, it actually wants to torque. And that torque was one of the leading causes of this, of the camling.
Getting a tour of the facility was pretty cool. The many patents that adorn the walls here really goes to the work that is done behind the scenes at G5. So we took the tour back into the factory to meet some more of the G5 family, and this is really where the real work is done, and we wanted to learn more about this parallel cam design.
Well, let's just jump right into it. We're here with Nate Grace now, and Nate is the lead engineer, designer type guy here at G5. What exactly do you do, and what's your role here at the company?
Well, my official title is G3.
Ah, okay.
So I'm the middle child. So I do whatever G1 and G2 don't want to do. But no, I'm the chief design officer is my actual title. But it's leading the product development side of G5, Quest, and Prime.
If you can explain it to me as best you can, why is this so much better than what has been traditional on bows?
Well, since Alan came out with the first wheel on a limb for compound bows, you look back through the history, there's dozen patents written, people trying to design out camling. Camling has more to do than just the robbing the life of the limb. When you take something and you're bending it to the side and twisting it, you're taking the life out of it.
And that happens on pretty much every single cammed bow or even a dual cam bow. Okay.
Correct. But the other thing that's a big deal, it was knock travel. The knock's attached to the string, the string's attached to the cam. So if the cam's wanting to move left and right through the draw cycle as you pull back, that knock's going left and right as well.
Okay.
So over the last 20-some years with the single cam and some of these synchronized dual cams, we've all been talking about vertical knock travel up and down and trying to keep that as straight and level as possible. Well, there's another axis, and that's left and right.
Okay.
And that's what camling is a condition of.
We love to highlight Michigan companies in the outdoor marketplace, and when it comes to the world of archery, Michigan has always been a leader.
Why do you stay in Michigan, and why do you think Michigan has been a key player in the archery world?
Well, we are dedicated to staying in Michigan and here in Memphis because Michigan is a mecca of archery, but we want Memphis to be the little city of Memphis here in St. Clair and Macomb County to be the mecca of modern day in archery, and so there's some tradition there that we're trying to maintain, but also we're so close to the auto industry that a lot of the outside surfaces that are required. On our bows, we do most of everything here, but certain things like heat treatment and certain other processes, we can get that done in Michigan better than any place in the world.
We as Michiganders love our archery. Our roots run deep when it comes to stick and string, from Fred Bear to Rex Darlington to Claude Pollington and now the Grace family and G5. We have much to be proud of right here in Michigan's Out of Doors. Well, in our next story, we've got a recipe for you, and when it comes to doing ribs, I've always been one to do them either in a smoker or even slow cook them in a crock pot and then put them on the grill. One thing I have never tried is to do them over an open fire. Once again, I was headed to the backyard of Tim Bourne to get some tips on cooking ribs over an open fire, which was something I had to check out to see if they were as good as he claims.
Hi, my name is Tim Bourne, and I'm happy to be on the program again. It's a real privilege. I wanted to take a minute just to thank everybody who's purchased these grills over the past few years, and I just want to share with you a quick and easy way to enjoy one of your meals at your campsite, and that's with barbecued ribs. Now, spare ribs sometimes can be quite a challenge, but we have a system here that's going to be placed on our website that you'll be able to follow to the letter, and I guarantee you're really going to enjoy these ribs once you've had them on your plate at your campsite. My grill is designed is that with the pulley system and the handle, you can raise and lower it very easy, very simple, even with a lot of food on there, a lot of weight. And when you let go of the handle, it stays put, it won't go anywhere.
Now, we have done a handful of recipes with Tim, and what sets him apart from most folks that we cook with is not only the grill he uses, but the idea of cooking over an open fire. Having the grill lock in place on the top of the tripod is a very nice feature when it comes time to flip.
Okay, so that one's ready to go in there. And we'll put that in the meat side down like so. And we'll do the same with this piece here. Flip it over. Everything all together, from this part here to the time that's on your plate, is just about 2 hours.
Okay.
Now, what we did with these two is we put a little bit of apple cider vinegar on the meat, which helps it again to break down. And now another secret thing we're going to do. This is going to make a lot of guys cry, because you're going to have to forfeit one of your beers. And so you pour that in there.
A little moisture.
A little moisture in there, and that'll help while it's cooking on there, so that's not so dry.
And you could kind of use any kind of cooking pan for this?
Yeah, and what I've got here is a thing that kind of keeps it away from the liquid.
Okay.
And that is very helpful in there. And then you just put the lid on it and put it on your grill. And you bring it up to a high level so that it cooks slow. You don't want it to cook down into the flames where you can hear it crackling. And because
how far above the fire then do you typically want that?
You want that about where I have it right now. On there, about halfway up to 3/4 of the way up, depending on your fire. If you have a big fire going, bring it all the way up, and then just let it cook nice and slow. After about an hour, you can take them and flip them over, and then put them back on for another hour.
So once you have flipped once, after a couple hours, it's time to finish and sauce.
At this time, you usually have to have a fly swatter in your hand to keep everybody else away, because they want to taste them right away. But you can put that on there, and then you just drop them down just about a minute or so. That's all you're going to need.
And then do we put sauce on them? Or?
Yep. As soon as I flip that over, we'll put sauce on the one side.
Well, when it comes to the eye test, these ribs were passing with flying colors. And let me tell you, they were very tender as well.
It's something that, again, because camping is so enjoyable and you always have a fire going, why not use the fire to your advantage? And by cooking the ribs on there, if you have a couple hours to spare, and usually when you're camping you can really enjoy this nice meal.
If you're a camper, you know the beauty of the campfire. And maybe this recipe will be something you'll try next time you're out. Or maybe it's time to make a campfire ring at home.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online. You can do that a couple of different ways. On our website at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com, we've got all of the archives of all of our episodes on there, including this week's show. You can always go on there and check those out. All kinds of other interesting stuff about the TV show there as well. And you can always check us out on Facebook at Michigan Out of Doors TV. Jimmy, Jordan, and I are on there on a daily basis, kind of letting you know what's happening around the state. Speaking of what's happening around the state, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up for you over the next couple of weeks.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Lots of good stuff coming up over the next few weeks here on Michigan Out of Doors. Actually, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be hitting Lake St. Clair with a Van Dam to do some bass fishing, but not Kevin Van Dam, Jonathan Van Dam. And if that goes well, you get to see what that was all about on next week's program. And if you're looking for something to do fun this weekend, our friends up at Jay's in Gaylord are doing an all-women's event on Sunday night. This is actually year number 2. It is an event really to raise awareness and raise some money around the cause of fighting cancer. So if you're a lady in northern Michigan or somewhere else and you'd like to get to Jay's this weekend, it's going to be a lot of fun Sunday night. If you'd like some more information, you can check out their website as well. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Zimmer Roofing and Construction in Port Huron, featuring Duralast roofing systems made in Michigan. Zimmer Roofing and Construction provides installation, maintenance, service, and repair, serving commercial and residential clients on the web at zimmerroofing.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man.
A little technique there.
John, please be a walleye. Please be a walleye.
Down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love